Okay, the question we're going to answer today is, what are the three types of plate boundaries? Okay, and so the title of this lecture is The Theory of Plate Tectonics, and we start with J. Tuzo Wilson. Two L's. Who in 1965. Okay, he was a Canadian scientist that proposed the lithosphere is broken into separate sections called plates. Okay, and he proposed this by combining information from continental drift, seafloor spreading, and Earth's plates into a single scientific theory. To a single scientific theory. And that explains a wide range of observations. Okay, and this idea of scientific theory applies across science. That this is calling something a theory in science is not a semantic term. There's a very specific meaning to theory if we call something a theory in science, and we're not messing around when we do that. That means this is true for all evidence that we have so far. This is true, and only if there is contradicting evidence does a theory become disproven. And that's usually you don't call something a theory until there's a lot of extensive testing and a lot of theory, a lot of confirmation that goes into it. So the theory of gravity is held just as strongly as the theory of relativity, which is held just as strongly as the theory of climate change. Okay, all of these are valid scientific foundational scientific principles that only through extraordinary evidence do we change. It's the aside from a law, it is the strongest statement we can make in science. Okay, so his theory was the theory of plate tectonics. Okay, and it explains the formation, movement, and subduction okay, and here are the highlights. See, highlight theory highlights. Okay, the plates float on top of the asthenosphere. Okay, that convection currents rise in the asthenosphere and spread out beneath the lithosphere. Okay. The convection currents cause plates to move. Okay, producing changes in Earth's surface. Producing changes and the changes in Earth's surface include volcanoes, mountain ranges, and deep ocean trenches. Okay. Yes, question. Oh. Oh, God bless you. Okay. The edges of the plates. Meet at lines called plate boundaries. All right. When rocks slip past each other, okay, along these boundaries, okay, faults occur. Faults, also known as breaks in the Earth's crust. Okay, there are 3 types of boundaries. So I'm going to slide this up. Okay, we have a transform boundary. Okay, and that's a place where 2 plates slip past each other. Two plates slip past each other. Moving in opposite directions. Transform. A transform boundary. Okay, and this is where we have frequent earthquakes. Okay, the next one is called a divergent boundary. Okay, and this is where 2 plates move apart. Or diverge. Usually at the mid-ocean ridge. Okay, and that's where, from seafloor spreading, that's where they, we create more seafloor comes out, and we have this ridge. All right. One part of them is called a rift valley. Okay, and this occurs when a deep valley is formed along a divergent boundary that develops on land. Okay, and then the third one, well, if we have a transform boundary, so when they're moving past each other, we have a divergent boundary where they move apart from each other, then we would have a convergent boundary. Okay, and that occurs where two plates come together. Okay, or converge. Causing a collision. Okay, when two plates of oceanic crust collide, or when an oceanic plate collides with a continental plate, one is subducted, and let me write this out here. Okay, one plate is subducted beneath the other. Okay, which forms a trench. Okay, and when two continental plates collide, they form mountains. And that's it. So we'll stop there.